Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. My name is Alpa Sharma and I hope I'm clearly audible and visible to everyone. Good evening everybody. Can you hear and see me clearly everyone? Very good evening. Looks like there's a lag. Is it? Hi everyone, good evening, good evening, good evening. If you could quickly confirm. Hi Akansha. I hope I'm clearly audible and visible to everybody. Hi Asmita. Yes, clearly audible and visible. Thank you. So SLAT is over, 12th. Very likely the result should be out. And that very day, very likely, Symbiosis is going to call kids for the WAT and PI. So this session takes a place here. And this session will be divided into two parts. So in today's session, we shall be talking about the PI in detail. And the next session that's going to be held tomorrow at the same time, we'll be talking about the WAT. And since we still have some time in our hands before the actual result is out and they call kids for the WAT and PI, we can still prepare enough so that when your call comes, you're able to crack the WAT and PI effectively. So that's what our agenda of the session is going to be today. So let's start with our personal interviews details that I'm going to share with you. Good evening, everyone. Yeah. So Gitanshi, Lasya. Okay. No. So the results are going to be out roughly by 12th. And after that, they're going to be shortlisting kids and they're going to be calling you for the WAT and PI. Now, there's a question that should be there in a lot of your minds. Ma'am, is the WAT-PI going to be at our home? Is it going to be at a center? Is it going to be at the campus of the college? We still have no specific information about that. So while I address the details about PI, how you can prepare amply for PI, we will keep both the situations in mind. One, you can sit at your home and take an online WAT or PI. Two, you could be asked to go to a center or their campus to sit for the WAT and PI. Both the scenarios are absolutely possible. So we will be addressing the preparatory strategy from both the perspectives, online and offline, both. All right. So let's start talking about the PI. There are a few fundamentals that we need to know before we start talking about the personal interview, because that is something you probably haven't ever given. Because none of the law entrance examinations, none of the colleges ask you for a WAT and PI. It's only the Symbiosis. So let's understand what exactly is their demand. So the purpose of the basic fundamental of a PI is that they understand a few things about you as a person. First and foremost, you need to be knowing what your strength and your weakness is, because your entire interview will be dependent on your strength and your weakness. It will revolve around, all the questions will revolve around this only. So you need to have absolute clarity about what are your strengths and what are your weakness. I'm sure there are going to be many things in your mind, ma'am. How do I say my weakness? How do I know what my strength is? And multiple things. So I'll be addressing each one of it, okay, gradually. But let's first understand the basic fundamental of a PI is to identify what's your strength, what's your weakness, is to understand that if you have faith in yourself or not. See guys, remember the entire process of PI is focused on only one thing, and that's your confidence. Now, somebody who is underconfident might actually not perform really well, and somebody who is overconfident might think he has performed really well, but he's very, very likely to be rejected in any interview at any stage of your life. So you have to remember that with your confidence, there is something that needs to be there, and that is to be polite. So you have to be very, very polite. So whatever you say, it needs to come up with a lot of demeanor and a lot of composure and politeness. That's what's needed here. So we'll be addressing that as well. We need to know who we are. We need to have faith in ourselves. We need to present our real self in the PI. A lot of people say, okay, if you we need to do a SWOT analysis. That's not necessary, Hemant. A SWOT analysis can be a part of your okay, I mean, if you do, it's good. Okay, I'll buy your point. Now back to it. Who you are, guys. There are good things and there are bad things about each person, about each personality. Do you think anyone's perfect? No. They are looking for candidates who they can select and who can be a promising student for them. So should you fake something so that you are pleasing to the examiner interviewer? Should you fake an idea which you actually aren't, only for the sake of grabbing that seat? That's going to act against you. Remember, you need to be presenting exactly who you are, and that, because you know who you are, that is what brings in confidence in you. If you are pretending to be somebody else, it's going to be visible. These people who are going to be taking your interview will have 20, 30, 40 years of experience, more experience than you guys are. Do you think you can fake anything there in the interview? No, you cannot. You can't fake anything in front of your parents, in front of your friends, in front of me as well. Do you think you can fake anything in front of the interviewer? You certainly cannot. He will pull you down the drain. He will beat you so hard that later on you'll realize, what did you do? So make sure you are yourself in the interview. No pretentious answers, no answers only for pleasing or buttering the examiner. Okay. And it also aims at knowing what your life story is. It may be full of ups and downs. We can pull it off. There's always a way of pulling off answers. How you answer it, what words do you choose, is the whole game. So let's try to understand this game. What words do I choose? How do I express negative things? If I don't know an answer, how do I deal with it? If there are negative things that he's caught, how do I deal with it? There's always a way to deal with things with a play of words, with politeness. I'll teach you all of that. It also focuses, your personal interview focuses on development of your right perspective towards your future. So we still have time and we still can develop our perspective in a right manner so that we are able to understand this process as well. Asima, WAT will be discussed in tomorrow's class at 5 p.m. Yes, Hemant, you just have to be yourself. Gitanshi says, ma'am, I have a weakness of being a little bit short-tempered. So will this be counter-questioned? Every weakness can be counter-questioned. Every negative point can be, the examiner can get hold of it and counter-question you. So I'll come to that point. You are short-tempered. Anyone else may say, my weakness is I sleep a lot, I'm too lazy, I procrastinate things. How do you on world deal with it? That's the whole point, Gitashi. So you have to be very careful with your words. I'll teach you that as well. Ma'am, if we have registered for all the SLS campuses, then we will be interviewed by each of them? Yes, Jigyasa. Okay. So back to the last pointer, the basic fundamental of a PI is to know that if your targets are right or not. If you see yourself probably as a lawyer working in a corporate, or as a lawyer, probably as a judge later on, you need to have your targets right. And if your dream is to be a corporate lawyer or be a judge someday or be a prominent lawyer like other lawyers, maybe Shroff and Shroff, maybe Amarchand Mangaldas, will I take you into my college? I'll very happily do that. So your target, your goals, your perspective needs to be clear. That's the basic fundamental of PI. Now, first thing, understand why is a PI taken? What is something that the examiner cannot know through your SET examination, through your SET score, is something that he would know through your personal interview. Guys, okay. Ma'am, is it compulsory we speak in English in PI? Kushi, it's recommended that you speak in English, but if you get stuck somewhere, you can always speak something in Hindi and then say, sir, I just can't think of words exactly to portray this in English, so I'm going to talk in Hindi and explain my idea to you. If you could allow me to do that, and you could seek for a permission and say that. Yes, Jigyasa, it's only about PI today. WAT will be discussed in tomorrow's class. Okay? Ma'am, I've seen many of your previous classes recordings but never attended one live. Ah, thank you, Jigyasa. Okay, my blood just increased a liter. Thank you. Back to this. Why PI? You see, if you understand this, some of you may be thinking, ma'am, come to the point. Tell me what questions and tell me how do I answer that. Guys, it does not work like that. A PI does not work like that. If I just, write down answers to you, everybody's going to be saying the same answers. And none of you will be selected. That's not my target, okay? My target is for you to understand that any unexpected question that comes up in the PI, you should be able to deal with it. And that's why we need to know the purpose of an interview. So the interview is basically conducted because the examiner, one, does not know you as a candidate. He knows your SAT score. He doesn't know who you are. Right. So to know you as a person, the interview is conducted. Two, to check things that were not checked in the examination. What could be the things he could check in the interview that could not be checked in the examination? It could be how confident you are, how presentable you are. Are you a promising candidate who would make name for my college later on if I give you one of my seats? Somebody who would add on to the value to my college. That's what the examiner is trying to find through a PI. And that's how you have to come across, okay? Dear ma'am, I've become more pessimistic. Because of my experience with life. Hemant, I think this session is going to put some bright light into your perspective. I'm sure. We're going to be talking about a lot of negative things and a lot of good things. Stick with me till the end and tell me if your perspective changed a little towards the end or not, okay? So, are you a suitable candidate or not? Your score says you are suitable, but how do I know your personality? That's why a PI is taken, okay? Now let's talk about if your interview is conducted online. What are the few things that you need to keep in mind before you sit for an interview? A checklist that you have to keep ready before your interview starts. So in the case of online, first, your dress code has to be absolute formals. Girls, boys, you can wear shirts, no bright colored polka dot printed and Maldivian printed shirts. No. Basic block colored white, gray, pink would do. Okay. Wear a shirt. If you want to wear a tie, you can wear a tie as well. You want to wear a sari, you can wear a sari as well. Just that wear anything that's counted as formals, not smart casuals, but as formals. No collared t-shirts. It has to be shirt only. Okay. And make sure whatever you're wearing, it doesn't come across as offensive to anybody. So it has to be decently dressed. 2, please be well groomed. Needless to say, take a shower, shave yourself, get a haircut, no dreadlocks. If you have your hair colored, tie them up in a bun. Please be well groomed. No flyaways here and there. Okay. No loud makeup. Subtle. Well groomed. Okay. Ma'am, apparently we have submit a CV before the PI. Can you give me some tips on how to prepare a good CV to give them? Jigyasa, I'll do that. Towards the end, just remind me towards the end of the class, I'll tell you how to prepare a short, crisp CV that's going to help you. Kushit, although there's no notification out about the PI and VAT being on the same day, but it is very, very, very likely going to be on the same day. That's how it has been happening all over the years. So it is going to be conducted on the same day, very likely. But the notification isn't out yet. Okay. So please be well groomed. Your internet connectivity. If my class buffers, does it irritate you? Imagine how much irritation it would cause to the interviewer if your internet buffers. Please sit for an interview only and only with a Wi-Fi connection. Okay. Please don't do it with your mobile network. A speed of 10 Mbps, and you need an upload speed. You don't need a download speed here. So a 10 Mbps of download speed, absolute no. It has to be a 30 plus. Certainly. Okay. Please get connected to a stable Wi-Fi. And if your house doesn't have one, find a house where you can sit for an interview. Okay. The internet has to be top notch. Okay. All right. Now there are questions. Friends, I like your name. There are questions about what is the last date to submit CV. You don't have to submit it. You have to keep it with you if they ask you for it. Although the chances of you being asked for the CV is almost negligible. Okay. Why are you afraid of WAT? I'll help you. The next class tomorrow at 5 p.m. is going to be talking about WAT, and I'll help you sail through. And ma'am, will it be online or offline, it could be either way. So I'll be addressing both online and offline medium, both, because it can be either ways. On 12th, we'll get to know what happens. So your internet connectivity has to be top notch if at all it's going to be online. 2, make sure there's no disturbance. If my child comes crying into my class, you'll hate that. If there's a cooker whistling outside, you'll hate that. If somebody at your home is playing with utensils, you would hate that, right? The similar thing, it's going to be even worse with the interviewer. Make sure your interview is as the background is as quiet as the background of my classes. Okay. Ask people not to work in the kitchen, not to play TV on loud noise. If your house has a lot of noise, move to a different house for an hour and take your interview, but without any disturbance. This disturbance will irritate the examiner, the interviewer, as well as you. You will be distracted. Make sure that does not happen. Next is, please have all your documents arranged in chronological order, in hard copy as well as soft copy. Okay, so Pragati, the dates will be out after 12th. Ma'am, can you schedule more WAT? Jigyasa is going to be only one PI and one WAT class. Okay, back to it. Documents all arranged in chronological order. Your 12th mark sheet, if you have it, if you don't have it, it's okay. Your 12th mark sheet, then your 10th mark sheet, then your certificates, all arranged in chronological order. Hard copy and soft copy, both. Please scan all your documents. Keep them handy on your laptop, on your desktop, wherever you're taking the interview from. Okay, giving the interview from. So it has to be scanned, because if the examiner asks you to share it, you can mail it right away. You can share a screen right away. So your documents have to be scanned, kept in your laptop or your desktop, and you should have a hard copy of that as well. Always keep a white paper and pen and pencil with you. Why is that needed? If the examiner asks you to do a case study at that very moment, asks you to draw something, write something at that very moment, you shouldn't be hunting around for mama pencil dena, mama pen dena, paper chahiye. That cannot happen there. So please keep a paper, pen, pencil with you handy at that time. Ensure that the mic is not too close, because it starts making a hustling noise. Okay, the mic not too close, not too far, appropriate. I would recommend you do a check before you go live with an interview, one day before. Okay, ask somebody else to go live from a different location and see if your voice is clear, if your internet connection is proper, if the lighting is proper, mic working fine. Borrow a mic from somebody if you do not have one, but those old earphones, that, because you need to be plugging it into your ear as well, those old earphones that do not work, one ear works, one doesn't, the mic does not work, you can't be fiddling around for finding new things at that moment. Okay, so make sure your mic works properly. Okay, documents include which all documents, ma'am? Jigyasa, documents include your all the mark sheets, your certificates that you have. But certificates, see, your certificates could be your national, your state level certificates, but they certainly needn't be the certificates that you got while you were in grade 1, 2, 3, 4, a painting competition, extempore competition. No, something that's substantial, something that holds some value. So that's the document that you need to have. Will they ask from a class 12 course as well? Kazi, if I look at the previous interviews that have been conducted by Symbiosis colleges, they usually don't ask you course questions, because that is something that's already checked in your SET examination. The questions mostly are personal ones about your personality. So usually they don't ask you the course questions. Ma'am, for WAT, does any days were given for preparation? No. It happens on the same day usually, Asima. The day your PI happens, the same day your WAT happens. There's no time for preparation. You'll be given 2 topics and you'll be asked to choose one and write then and there. Bluetooth earphones, can I use? I don't have mic. Yeah, they can work, Chirag, but make sure you already do a Reiki with it. Okay, and you do a mock with somebody else so that you know either the mic is working. How long is the PI usually? The longer, the better. You know, when the interview, see, I have been working all my life now. I've been working for the last 12, 13 years. Okay, and from my experience, I'll tell you, if the interview doesn't last really long, it's either that the examiner isn't interested in you at all. So he says, why do I waste my time? Just let go of this candidate. Or your CV is top notch that he doesn't have to think at all about you. You've been a debater all your life, you won accolades. These are the only two cases why the interview doesn't last really long. So if the interview goes on, it usually lasts for good 15-20 minutes. If it goes on for that time, it's a good sign. Unless and until he is just grilling you and trying to bring you down. That could be a stress interview. Do not get stressed. Mind my words, do not get stressed. He might want to take a stress interview because he's just too bored of meeting usual candidates and he wants to vent out his frustration. You just have to stay calm. Don't lose and fight with the examiner or start crying because it is a stress interview. That's what's being checked here. Okay, so Pragati, usually the CV isn't asked, but towards the end I'll address how to make a CV if you at all want to take one. Okay, so ensure the mic is not too close. The background lighting, the lighting always has to come from the front. Okay, that's coming from somebody who's been taking YouTube sessions for quite a while. The lighting cannot come from the background. Find a place to sit where there's a wall at the back and there's a tube light at the front. Okay, if there's a window at the back, your face is going to be really dark and he'll not be able to look at you. Bad impression during the interview. So find a place that has just a minute. Find a place that has lighting from the front and not the back. Give me a second, guys. I think I spoke too much. All right. Lighting, enough. Please log in 15 to 20 minutes before time. If something does not work, you can still fix it. You have time to fix it. You'll not be struggling, right? So always 15-20 minutes before time, you can fix your internet, you can fix your laptop, you can fix your charger if that's not working. But always at least 15-20 minutes before time so that if there are glitches, they can be fixed. That's the checklist for your online interview. Let's go to the offline interview. Okay, so if the interview is going to be offline, what is needed to be done? Dress code formals, well groomed. Okay, all the documents, hard copy, take a folder with you. Okay, and put all your documents into the folder. Shobana says, ma'am, I don't have any academic or extracurricular achievements. Would it be very difficult for me? No. Shobana, I never was a child who was extraordinary with her education, who was extraordinary with her national and state level certificates. I had no certificates. Was I rejected in any of the interviews? Not even one in my life. Not even one. What helped me? I'll tell you the key. I'll tell you the key what helped me. That's the key, my children. That's the key. This needs to be there. You need to have faith in yourself that I can do it. I am capable of doing it. It's okay if I did not do really well in my boards, in my 10th. I was an average student, but I knew I was confident enough. I knew I could present myself in front of thousands of people and not be ashamed or not be nervous about it. I need to have that confidence. And that's the most important thing in your entire life. My kids, remember that. Okay. So, Shobana, no certificates, no issues at all. You have clarity. Remember the first slide. You need to have clarity with your thoughts. You need to have clarity with your goal. You need to have clarity with your life. If you have clarity, that confidence automatically comes. Do you buy my point, everyone? If you do, send me a thumbs up and do hit a like button right now, because without this like and share and subscribe, things don't work on YouTube. You know that, right? Please give me this little favor. Thank you if you've already liked and shared and subscribed to the channel. Ma'am, a friend of mine who has been through the PI procedure advised me to make the introduction very wisely. He has a point. I'll come to that. As that's what they'll base their questions on. Okay, now let's talk about this since the question is there. But Jigyasa, My next page actually talks about these questions only. So I'll address the questions in the next slide. First, let's look at the checklist of the offline mode of interview. Okay. Lasya, WAT in the next session tomorrow, 5 p.m. Hard copy, please take a folder, arrange all of your documents in chronological order. If they ask you for any of your certificates, you shouldn't be hunting into your file. You need to know where it is kept. Find it out and give it to them. Next thing is please, please, please be polite. You have to be somebody who's pleasing. Before entering the room, seek for permission. So, ma'am, may I please enter? If they offer you a seat, take the seat and say thank you. If they don't offer, you ask, sir, can I please sit? Say thank you. Thank you and sorry, they cost nothing, but they'll help you gain a lot of marks. Remember the keyword. Okay? Don't be somebody who is so excited to sit for the interview because you're so overconfident that you forgot to actually seek for permission before entering or sitting. Please, please, please sit and enter only and only after you seek permission. That's very necessary. Otherwise, it comes across as rude. Carry white sheet and pen pencil. They can ask you to do any research, any analysis, any SWOT, any drawing, any painting, any mathematical calculation. You need to have white paper and pencil or pen with you at that time. Please reach 45 minutes early. If you are called to Pune for an interview or Noida for an interview, wherever the location is, you don't have to run around finding the place, the location, entering the college is huge, what center it is. No, 45 minutes before the actual time, you need to be there at the place. Please make sure you do that. Okay, now that's about the checklist for the offline mode. Okay, now, ma'am, when WAT topic list will be released? They don't give you any list. Vedant, they'll give you 2 topics and you have to choose one. If you're asking for a list given by us, I'll suggest some topics tomorrow at 5 p.m. Ma'am, can we go for LPU? You can, depends on the options that you have. All right, now addressing the most common questions. As Jigyasa said, tell me something about yourself is usually the very, very first question. Intro. And this is absolutely correctly said that your intro has to be very carefully drafted because most of the questions are going to stem out of your intro. Make sure you include those things which you want the examiner to talk to you about. So if there's an achievement that you have, if there's something that you are really confident about, if there's something, okay, now for example, if I go somewhere and I sit for an interview for CLAT, I'll promote that I have taught so many kids for CLAT that they've become judges and they've become so many entrepreneurs and they have their own business. I'll promote that, right? Because I want the interviewer to talk to me about that. That's my achievement. I'll make sure I mention that in my intro. So your intro has to be something about yourself. You can start with your name. You can start where you come from. I usually would say I'm born and brought up in Assam because that's something unusual. A lot of people you don't come across a lot of people who are born and brought up in Assam and who can talk to you about Assam. That's a place that's away from the reach of a lot of people. So you have to choose your words very, very carefully. Vedant, BYJU'S will not release a list of WAT topics. I will suggest you some topics in tomorrow's session. Ma'am, can give suggestions for APJ Abdul Kalam University, Indore or Indore Institute of Law. Which one can I choose? Chirag, can I answer this question towards the end of the class because we're in the midst of discussing the PI? Thank you so much for bearing with me. If you are going to bear with me till the end of the class, thank you. So, talk about your personal likings, about your hobbies, about yourself, about who you are, where do you see yourself in 10 years, why are you inclined towards law. You can include all this in your intro, but make sure that you don't say anything that comes across, oh, I hate Hindus, I hate Muslims. Please don't say anything that's going to be offensive to, this. I clearly remember there was one child who sat not for the law entrance examinations, but who sat for an IIM interview and he said, I don't think women should be working. You know how the interview went, right? You can't be saying these things, needless to say. So please make your intro something that's polite, but something that's interesting. Okay, that makes the examiner interested. I'd like to talk to this person. I'd like to know more about you. What can you say? So, guys, whatever the list that I make, the list of questions, I want you to do a bit of homework here. Okay, the homework here is that you, whatever questions that I write down on this list, the first one was intro. You have to write down the answers to it. You can, because if you just think, okay, I'm thinking and I'm going to say this towards the end, you probably are going to miss out on pointers. Make sure you write answers to each of the questions and you get it checked from somebody who you think has already given interviews or who works in a prestigious position anywhere in a corporate. Ask that person to check your answers and ask them to see if any amendments can be made in your answers, if anything comes across as negative which isn't justified. So answer, please write them down. That's for every person who's confident or not confident. Write the answers and you can alter, add and delete pointers from that. So the first question is intro. Okay, ma'am, you have amazing. Okay, thank you, Pragati. Can give suggestions. Okay, Chirag. Yes, I read your question again. Okay, so let's look at the next question. What's your goal in life? Or phrased in a better manner, where do you see yourself after 10 years? I'd like to know the answer from you. Where do you see yourself after 10 years? Where? Answer this question, everyone. Ma'am, will they ask us about our family background? They can, Arpit, absolutely. Be completely shameless in telling about your family background. Okay? Financial background? No issues, whatever it is. Parents working, not working, no issues, whatever it is. Be open because I'm sure none of you are ashamed of your family background. So it shouldn't come across in the interview as well. Be clear. So this is what my family is. This is my father. This is my mother. These are my siblings. That's what they do. Simple as that. Okay. Your answers. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Nobody answered that. Why? You don't see yourself anywhere? Jigyas, I love your answer. I love your answer. Venkat, very good. Name some organizations you would like to work for. It could be a counter question for you. Very good. But Pragati, after 10 years, no more an intern, you could be a partner actually. 5 years of your law and then 5 years of experience, you could actually be a partner. So don't say an intern. You're undermining your capabilities. Say that you see yourself as a partner in your own firm, a very good firm maybe. Amarchand Mangaldas gives partnership to many, many people. You don't even know how many partners do they have, right? This, I like to talk about this. First, tell me, what's your weakness? I'd like to know your answers and then I'll tell you how to say this. Because there are going to be questions on this. This word can pull you down. So tell me, Gitanshi says, I see myself working in reputed corporation at the post of a legal advisor, making a good sum of. Gitanshi, don't say that. Okay, the money thing, don't say that, okay? don't omit it out. And say that you see yourself being satisfied with your work, happy to get up every morning and go to work. Yeah, that's perfect, Venkat, perfect. Oh, so Gitanshi says being short-tempered. Okay, others, what's your weakness? Tell me your weakness. I'll tell you how to phrase the answer. Now see, since nobody has answered apart from Gitanshi, I'll take Gitanshi's answer. Examiner says, Gitanshi, tell me your weakness. Gitanshi would say, Sir, I think I'm a little short-tempered, but I've come a long way because while I was younger, I used to be very aggressive. But then I read some books or slash I meditated slash I always thought and took a pause before I reacted, and that has helped me a lot calm my temper down. I still have a long way to go, but I'm working on it. That's how you answer your weakness. Weakness added with a pinch of your strength. Let's see, this is my weakness, but I'm working on it. I have worked on it and I am going to surmount it. It still is a weakness, but I am fighting with it. I am no loser here. Okay. I tend to procrastinate and overthink. I am a little lazy. You can say that. Short-tempered. You can say that. My weakness that very much detail-oriented, which takes a lot of. You can say that. English, Chirag, don't say that. I mean, you can say that. No, I don't have an issue with that. You can say that. But then you say, sir, because I've been preparing for law entrance examinations, I've been reading newspapers, and I'll be doing that even more. I need my English to be top-notch. Probably English is not a compulsion, but I'd like my English to be improved and I'm working towards that. So you can say that as well. My weakness is short-tempered. You can say that. Ma'am, my weakness is being short-tempered and believe in people easily. Venkat, you can say that as well. Okay. So, yes, I've checked all the answers. So that's how you present it. Politely. Say, this is my weakness. It could be any weakness. This is my weakness. But sir, I'm working on it. I've come a long way. There's a long way to go as well. But I'm going to make sure I'll surmount that. Simple as that. Now, your strength could be anything. Make sure it's not over. Sir, my strength is my confidence. Confidence, you're shivering sitting in the interview. Don't be pretentious. I'll tell you how to know your strength and weakness. A lot of people don't know their strength and weakness. Do a bit of homework. Ask 5 people to answer this for you. It could be your spouse if you have one. It could be your mom, dad, siblings, friends, teachers who know you personally. Your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you can ask them. 5 people to tell you your strength and your weakness. But ask your mom to tell you only one of your weakness, okay? Not an entire list of your weakness. Otherwise, I'm sure she's going to go on and on. So only one weak, probably 2 weakness and 2 strengths. That's how you'll know what your strengths are. Probably, sometimes we actually overlook our strengths because of all the pressure around us. When these 5 people tell us our strengths, they inculcate that confidence back in us. They tell us that we're worth it. We actually are worth something. We aren't useless, right? So these 5 people will help you know your strengths, something that you probably never paid attention to. Ask these 5 people, okay? So, you're welcome, Gitanshi. Ma'am, I tend to procrastinate, but to overcome that, I'm plan out my day and make my target a little prior. And Anushka add something like, and I've been doing this for quite a while, sir. So I usually don't procrastinate now. Sometimes it happens, but I'm dealing with it now. So that's how you end up your answer. If you don't know your strengths, your weakness, also your strengths, please make sure you don't come across as overconfident. Okay. So a polite strength. Hardworking, everybody would say that. You have to prove it. You have to substantiate it. Whatever strengths are, make sure you're able to substantiate. So my strength is my singing. He might ask you to sing. You sing. He might say, you're a pathetic singer. You'd say, sir, probably you did not find it really good. Probably I'm nervous. But that's what I think. And I take it as my strength because it gives me power. That's how you say that. Okay. Even if the examiner is offended with your singing or your dancing or your art, whatever you say as your strength. He might be offended, but you say, sir, maybe it's the nervousness of the interview, but I take strength from it. Your achievements, your failures. Again, failure, weakness, all of these are negative connotations, but you can always back it up with something positive. Never come across as a pessimistic person. You have to come across as somebody who looks, Hemant, you here? You watching me live? Are you? Let me see if he's here. Hemant, if I'm not wrong with the name. Yes, Hemant. Hemant, are you watching me live? Ma'am, if I... Prince, you can say that, no issues. Ma'am, if I say that dedication is my strength, how do I frame it? Yes, Anushka, you can say I'm very dedicated towards a task that I pick up, because I make sure that I finish it off and I try to put my best that I have to make sure that the task is completed to the best of its capabilities. That's how you frame it. My weakness, when I see tears in my mother's eyes. Okay. My strength, when I see my mother happy. Okay. Kushi, speak to 5 people. They'll help you with better answers. Because your answer actually, as an interviewer, doesn't lead me to any interesting thing. Your strength and weakness is fine, but okay, what does it tell? You can probably back it up saying, and you know, it rather actually is your weakness, because that makes you a very emotional person, and lawyers aren't supposed to be emotional people. So you rather should speak to 5 people who will tell you better strengths and weakness about you. You can think about it. My strength is public speaking. You can say that, Kashvi. I would have said that. Okay. I think Heyman just left the class. So you have to come across as an optimistic person. So these things have to be presented in an optimistic manner. Next question, your hobbies. What are your hobbies, my children? Tell me your hobbies. I'll see if something needs to be corrected here. What are your hobbies? What are your hobbies, guys? What do you like doing? I'll tell you exactly what a hobby is. A hobby is something that you will always resort to when you have spare time. Don't say watching reels on Instagram, vlogging about my day. What's your hobby? I'll tell you what my hobby is. I love to travel. Swimming, gardening, beautiful Pragati. I love your answer. Strength is an optimistic person. Prince, you can say that. Digital art, lovely Astha. Anushka, I did not get what you're trying to say. Sketching and oil painting, yes. Playing sports, okay. Usually basketball and okay. All right. Crafting, drawing, listening to music, eating, sleeping, okay. You can say that. Playing, dancing, sketching, reading thrillers and doing traditional painting, video, okay, video editing. Can I hire you, Arpit? Dancing, poetry, debating, perfect, cooking, recite monologue, very good, swimming, playing badminton and chit chat with my friends and family members. Okay, guys, now all of these can be said, but be ready for counter questions. How can counter questions happen? If you say, I like watching movies, like Puneet just said, he would say, okay, tell me about your favorite movie. Okay. If you say, I like poetry, he'll ask you to recite a poetry. He'll ask you about your favorite poet. If you like singing, he can ask you to sing. If you like painting, please carry some painting in your file. Please do that. I would, as an interviewer, love to see your paintings. I'd love to know who you are as a person. Okay? Playing chess, he might give you a trick. Listening to music, who's your favorite musician? And a GK question might come up. Netflix. Chirag, please think of something better now. If you say traveling, you need to have traveled. If you say reading, you need to have read. You need to substantiate. Okay? If some sport is your favorite, you need to know about the sport in and out because it's your favorite. Okay? Reading thrillers, Subhavi, please make sure you know about the books that you've read. Okay? Traditional painting, make sure you carry one. It has a very good impression. Okay? All right. So I think, and digital art, you could take a printout of a digital art as well. Who was this person? Yes, Astha. Okay, so I think I've answered most of your hobbies. You need to substantiate your hobbies. You can't just make up a hobby. Sleeping, you can say that, but make sure there's a better hobby that you mention along with it. Who is your role model? Whoever you mention, you need to know about them. Gandhiji, you need to know about his life. Nelson Mandela, you need to know about his life. APJ Abdul Kalam, you need to know about his life. Make sure your role model is somebody you know about in and out. Next question. Are you okay with shifting to another city? Yes, sir, I am absolutely. I've always wanted to leave my city. Don't say that. Yes, sir, I'm okay to shift to another city. I'll obviously miss my parents, but my career, my education demands that. I would love to do that. Probably moving out of my city will make me face new challenges and make me a stronger person. That's how you answer it. Why law? A very tricky question. This question might come up. Why do you see yourself as a lawyer? What promoted you? I will not tell you this answer because this answer is variable for everyone. I've always been fascinated with law. Why have you been fascinated with law? What did you read? You have to substantiate it. Please brainstorm about this answer. Don't blurt it out. Brainstorm about your answers. Think about why at the first place. Don't say, I wanted to do JEE, but I did not, but that was too difficult for me, so it's a backup option. You can't be saying these things, okay? You have to convince the interviewer that you are made for law. Law is you are law, okay? Okay, now, yes, Jigyasa, you can say that. Chirag, you can say that as well. Ma'am, if we say traveling, then what are the counter questions? Where have you traveled? Why do you like the place? What makes you interested in traveling? I tell you, I always say that I like traveling. I love traveling. I just cannot sit back at home for more than 15 days. I need to leave my city, go out into the wilderness and feel the natural surrounding around me because that gives me a different perspective out of the concrete jungles I'm in. Okay? And because the life is way bigger than what we see inside a cubicle. And I need to experience that, the real life, different kind of people, different kind of food. That's why I travel. So that's how you substantiate it. Ma'am, can we give our interview in Hindi, Simran? The entire interview in Hindi, I don't expect you to do that. Even if your English is broken, it's absolutely fine. But entire interview in Hindi, no, I would not recommend that. Okay, Venkat, you can say your father is your role model. Ma'am, can I say, okay. Ma'am, one incident in my life motivated me to pursue law as a career. Yes, you can elaborate that, Prince. Because law as a career will help me to serve people of my society. Why do you want to serve the people in your society? Why? Answer this. I mean, I'm just being blunt. He will not ask you that. Okay. Second half is perfect, Anushka. But if he asks you, why do you want to serve the people of your society? You need to have an answer. All right. I have 44 people watching me live. Did all 44 people like my video? If you haven't done that, please do that. Next question. Why symbiosis? I'll give you a quick tip. After the class, open their website. Read everything about them. There's no better source to appreciate symbiosis than their own website. Read their website, know about their achievements, know about their excellence, know about their faculty, know that excellent faculty, that excellent dean, know about them and repeat it in the interview. That's the best source of why Symbiosis is the best. Read the website in and out thoroughly, the achievements that they have had. Why are they a better college than any other private college? Okay, there could be another counter question. Did you sit for CLAT? You'll say yes. Did you get an NLU? You might say a yes. Why Symbiosis then? This question should also be answered. Think about it carefully. Academics. Your scores, if they're good, fine. If they're bad, you need to have a story. Why are they bad? The entire website, Simran. I want to understand the law in detail and then Kashmi, that absolutely works. Since a child, I've seen my grandfather working and always being occupied with papers, affidavits, and anxious all around, and I've been to science. Yes, Gitanshi can say that. Okay. Their vision of the world is one family. Yeah, so Simran, you could just copy paste it. Could I attend the family member of mine is an alumni of the institute? Yes, Subhavi, make sure you mention that. And that person influenced you to join this college because he loved this college. He had great experience here. You could say that. That's a bounty for you, Shubhavi. Yes, that's a bounty. Okay, let me have some water and then I'll continue with the rest of the questions. If your scores were poor, how will you justify them? Poor means 40, 50, 60, 70. I mean, these days even 70 is poor, right? While I was in my school, 70 was the best. How will you justify your poor scores? How will you do that? You'll justify by not saying that you fell in love and ruined your scores. Okay? You'll justify by saying, I was not well, I felt sick, I contacted COVID. You can make this up. Say I had COVID multiple times. They'll never check it. Okay? I like playing badminton. What should I mention at that time? Nothing. Say that's my hobby. I like playing badminton. He'll ask you about popular badminton players then. Now, I wanted to serve the people of my society because I want to empower them about the rights from a knowledge. Perfect. Perfect. I like your answer, Anushka. Ma'am, can I say that in search of career option other than the B.Tech? Okay. I found the law is one of the best career options for. Why did you find it as the best? You still haven't answered the question. Other than B.Tech, it was the best. Why was it the best? You can't say that. Venkat, you need to rephrase your answer. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So, ta-da! That's all for your PI. Two things. Remember. No, that's not all for PI. I'll add one more thing. Two things remember. Confidence and being polite. These are the two things we need to remember. If you are somebody who is an introvert, if you are somebody who is afraid of such situations, make sure you write your answers for all these, including the intro, and you practice in front of the mirror. You give mock interviews to people who you've known, who are working somewhere in a corporate. Make them take mock interviews for you and practice. Before you give them a mock interview, you sit in front of the mirror and practice it multiple times and get your answers proof checked from people. So these are the few things that can help you if you are an introvert. Reasons for drop, how to frame it. Sneha, you say, sir, I wanted a better college than what I got last year. And that's why I thought taking a drop was not a bad choice. That was not the college I would want to study in, the one that I got. Okay. Yes. APJ Abdul Kalam University, Indore and Indore Institute of Law. Which one? If you had to choose one and you had to choose one, I'll say Indore Institute of Law. But if there's any other choice better than this, you should go for that. I mean, these aren't excellent colleges, of course. I'll get this part edited. Can I say that my father is in government service and the level of confidence he has and knowledge and discipline, he can have calm in every situation. Is he a lawyer? If he's a lawyer, you can say that. But being in a government job and you taking up law doesn't really link. Sneha, what's your question? Can you post again, Sneha? I missed out your question. Sneha, please post it again. Ma'am, I can justify by saying that during COVID, everything was online and I being not so tech savvy, my academic records were not so great. You can say that. Asta, why do you want an LLB? The question is still not answered. Law is a very broadening field currently, very diverse career options. Yeah, I like that. I wish to explore. Okay, tips for CV. See, one, CV is not needed. Yet, if you need to make a CV, no, but before that, Deepti's question. Ma'am, can I say dance as my hobbies? Oh, yes. Please mention in your intro that you have a degree in classical dance and you love doing that. You know, I would like to take a candidate who can bring accolades to my college. You can be one of those people. Mention in your intro that you have a degree in classical dance, Kathak. Okay? Alright. SLS Hyderabad or Nagpur? Hyderabad. Yes, Lauren. Ma'am, should we fill SLS Hyderabad? Anushka, it depends on various things. Your other options that you have, you're okay to relocate to Hyderabad, but majorly the other options that you have. But always fill out many forms so that you have a choice to choose from. My father is in Delhi Police, so that's why my role model. Yes, you can say that. Ma'am, is Ramaya College in Bangalore a nice college? I don't know how do we define nice. If I compare it to NLS Bangalore, it's not nice. But if I compare it to no other option that you have, it's a nice college, bache. So nice is a vague definition in terms of colleges, specifically the private ones. I hope you get my answer, Usha. Now back to how you can make a CV. For making a CV, you don't need one though. But even if you're trying to make one, your name, your address, your phone number, then why do you even need a CV? Nonetheless, you can write something about yourself in one line. Okay, your goal in one line. Then you can write down about your credentials. That is your 10th, 12th scores, your achievements. That's all. That's all that's needed in the CV. Since you haven't worked anywhere, your experience does not count. Which is okay, Sneha. Don't make it. Yes, Jigyasa, you can say that. Rachi, you can say that as well. Ma'am, I got NLU Shimla, so should I take it or wait for MHCET? It depends on how did MHCET go, but NLU Shimla, you can take it. Guys, I'm winding up the session now. So, but before I wind up the session, a few things. Tomorrow at 5 p.m., I have a class for the WAT. Make sure you don't miss out on the class of WAT. I'll teach you many models, many methods that you can choose. I'll teach you how to write a WAT. And before, oh my God, see, there are so many slides that I need to skip. Do not leave without following us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, downloading our app. Do not leave without liking the video, subscribing to the channel, sharing the video with your friends, commenting under my video if you think it helped you. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a very good day. Okay. All right, you have questions. Ma'am, I filled SLS Pune, Noida, IPU, and OP Jindal. Should I fill now? Fill it up, Anushka. Ma'am, can I say my mother is an army serving personal officer? She is an inspiring person to me, and weakness is my short temper, and I will reduce. Okay, you can say that. Ma'am, can I mention that I have my own society running in my school? Absolutely, Gitanshi. Mention it. Don't miss out on it. Can we add any online courses in CV? You can do that, Jigyasa. Please mention that. My family and surrounding inspire me to pursue law as they all are lawyers. You can say that, Simran. Ma'am, I can also mention that during my summer vacations, I did an internship in a law firm. Yes, Gitanshi, you can say that. Thank you so much, everyone. Ma'am, should we be more prepared for WAT? I'll address that tomorrow. Bye, everyone. Good evening. See you all tomorrow.